Good morning. This is Allison Cheney, everybody, and we are going to try something a little different for test training. Instead of trying to get everybody together, because I know everybody's schedule is kind of crazy, I thought I'm going to try to do a little video with this information that you can watch at your leisure. And if you still have questions, of course, we can talk about that. So I'm going to go through things kind of quickly because a lot of this is the stuff that we've done before, not big changes this year at all, just kind of some fresh reminders. So let's go ahead and get started. Here in front of you is our test day information form for this fall. And just a quick reminder, super important that you have your room prep ready to go. I know you guys make your rooms really pretty, especially at the elementary level, and this is kind of a bummer to have to cover things, but please do so. Make sure there's nothing there that could be helpful for a student. And the other good thing is to ask a neighbor to come in and check it out, because sometimes we don't see things in our own room, so that would be super helpful. Breaks, again, no group breaks are necessary for this. It's a short testing time frame of 90 minutes. And have the students use the restroom beforehand. And of course, if a student needs to use the restroom or take a little break, they can do so individually. Just need to pause the test. Hopefully we don't have an issue with cell phones at the third grade level, but maybe we do. Any electronic devices or cell phones that are there for students should not be anywhere near them. Those need to be turned off and either put on your desk or put somewhere that they do not have access to them. Of course, you guys may have access to your own phone for emergency purposes. If needed, just please make sure you're not doing anything personal with your cell phone. Oral script, that will be in your packet that you're going to be getting each day in that binder. I also sent it to you via email, and you may look at that, but please familiarize yourself with that. It is the oral script that we use each year to kind of get the ball rolling for our testing. Number 5, about the test session monitoring. Please make sure that you're actively monitoring the test sessions, walking around the room, making sure that the kids are engaged, not working on non-testing things like grading papers, reading a book, answering email, things like that. It's always important during the preparation for tests to remind students to complete the entire test. The day of testing, you may do that as a large group before the test begins, just as a refresher reminder, hey guys, make sure that you're completing the whole test. Make sure that you've answered all of your questions. Go through the checklist at the end. That should not be something that they are hearing for the first time on test day. But please do not review the student's test. Don't look at their answers. Don't look at how far they've gotten over their shoulder, that kind of thing. Don't let them know if anything's incorrect or blank. That would be not allowable. After testing, the students are going to remain in the room if they get done prior to the 90-minute time frame. They may work on work that is not related to the area of testing. So no reading homework, no English language arts homework. They may read a book. They may work on math homework if they want to. Blank paper, we need to provide 2 sheets of blank paper. Do not have the student put their name on that until they use the paper. Once that becomes, once they've used it, that becomes a secure document, and that's something that we need to account for. So please make sure that they put their name on something that they have used. Any material that is given to you in that binder needs to be put back in the binder and returned each day of testing. Any irregularities, please mark that on the sheet. And again, any contact information, if you need help from me, from Mr. Fry, from Mrs. Murphy, Mrs. McMillan, or Mrs. Dunn, those are our contact phone numbers. So please do not hesitate to ask. There's your checklist for grade 3. Just make sure that you have the things that are listed here available. The biggest, most important thing is that those Chromebooks are charged and ready to go. I know people do a really good job with that, but Chromebooks absolutely need to be charged each day. Everything else you should have available to you or in that packet that you're going to get every day of testing. These are your testing times. Here obviously is grade 3. It's 90 minutes per part. No more, no less. All right, just a reminder, Testing highlights of things that you can do. We talked already about having your room ready for testing. Have a colleague come and take a look at it to make sure it's test appropriate. Talking about the cell phone usage. You know what you can do and cannot do there. You may repeat directions as needed, word for word out of the script. That can be repeated as many times as a student needs it. Make sure you're actively monitoring the test sessions. Make sure you report any security violations. Testing seating arrangements. Super important that you put the kids in a testing arrangement that does not give them the opportunity to look at each other's screens. You may assign seats if you want to do that. And maintaining test security, even those testing tickets that the students get. Super important that all of that remains secure, so those get turned back in at the end of each testing day. Things that you can't do, and this list is not everything, just the highlights. We talked already about using cell phones or the computer for anything that is not test related. Please don't check your email during testing unless you are expecting an email or an IM for something that is testing related. Don't read a book or grade papers. Obviously, we're not going to be explaining test items or passages. We're not going to pronounce words for students. Make sure we're not giving verbal or nonverbal cues. The rest of these, I'm not going to read through everything, but please make sure that you're familiar with the things that we cannot do. And lastly, making sure that you are accounting for and returning secure test materials. We're going to use our normal fall 2019 test day info form. You're very used to this. Test session ID on there is important. Any of your absent students, it just helps the office and you keep track for any makeup times. And then lastly, this is our quick administrator guide. If you are not sure after you've looked at the AIR tutorial, or you're nervous on testing and you don't remember how to get things started, this should be able to help you quickly be able to set up your test sessions and be able to answer any other questions that you may have. And then again, any of our numbers that might be needed are here at the bottom. Okay, just remember that when you are logging on, sometimes that pop-up blocker will come, and here are some steps to help you remember how to turn off that pop-up blocker. You will not be able to continue on with setting up a test session without that pop-up blocker being disabled. And you may have to do that every single time. So just please remember that, and hopefully these steps will help with that. Hopefully this is a quick overview, and this is something that maybe is a little more enjoyable than having to come to a meeting and listen to me talk to you that whole time. Please feel free to email me, IM me with any questions or concerns you have. If something wasn't explained clearly, if there's something that you just need clarification on, please don't hesitate to contact me. I would be more than glad to help you out. Thank you so much, and happy testing, everybody.